Attention, passionate Dallas Cowboys fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East, and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another championship run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Dallas Cowboys fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, it's not every day that you see a blockbuster move like this in the NFL, especially involving a team like the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise with such a storied history and high expectations year after year. But what we're hearing right now is that the Cowboys are making some serious waves in the player market, and it's not just about a minor trade or a backup signing. No, this is about potentially reshaping their quarterback future, and that's where the buzz really starts to build. The latest whispers in NFL circles are pointing towards a possible trade for none other than Shedeur Sanders, the young quarterback out of Colorado, son of the legendary Deion Sanders. You might be wondering, why Shedeur Sanders? What makes him such a hot commodity right now? Well, Sanders has been making waves in college football, showcasing impressive arm talent, mobility, and leadership skills. He is a guy who, despite his youth, has already caught the attention of NFL scouts and team executives alike. In the current NFL landscape, where teams are increasingly valuing dual-threat quarterbacks who can extend plays and make throws on the run, Sanders fits that mold perfectly. But it's not just about his skill set. It's about the potential long-term investment that the Cowboys are eyeing, especially with the current quarterback situation under the microscope. Now, let us talk about that quarterback situation because it's the core of the story. The Cowboys have Dak Prescott, a quarterback who has been the face of the franchise for several years now. Prescott has been a solid player, no doubt. He has led the team to the playoffs multiple times and has put up some impressive stats throughout his career. But when you look at his postseason performances, there's a different story. A 2-5 playoff record, with some games where the offense just didn't click when it mattered most, raises questions. And with Prescott entering his age 32 season, durability and consistency become even more critical points of concern. Prescott's contract situation complicates things further. He is locked in under a sizable deal for the next 3 seasons, which makes any potential move tricky from a cap perspective. Still, the Cowboys have shown over the years that they're not afraid to make bold moves if it means improving the team. Remember when Jerry Jones famously traded for Roy Williams back in the day, or when they swung big for Amari Cooper? They were no strangers to taking risks, especially when they believe it could give them a competitive edge. But here's the thing, trading for Shedeur Sanders wouldn't necessarily mean the immediate end for Dak Prescott. No, it could be a move that puts pressure on Prescott to perform at his best this season. If Dak struggles again in the playoffs, or if the team's offense fails to click, the Cowboys might start seriously considering a transition. And if Sanders shows enough promise in training camp and the preseason, that could accelerate the timeline for a future quarterback change. It's a calculated gamble. Do you stick with Prescott and hope for postseason breakthrough, or do you start grooming Sanders early, knowing that the NFL is a league where youth and athleticism often win out? Now, let us take a step back and analyze the bigger picture here. The Cowboys, as talented as they are, have faced a recurring issue they just haven't been able to get over that playoff hump. Their defense, which has been pretty solid at times, still leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to consistency and big-game experience. Micah Parsons, one of the league's most disruptive pass rushers, has been a bright spot, but football is a team sport, and you need the whole package to contend seriously. Offensively, the team has been heavily reliant on Prescott's arm and leadership, with stars like C.D. Lamb and Tony Pollard providing explosive plays. But the offensive line has seen its share of struggles, and the lack of a truly dynamic playmaker on the outside has sometimes held the offense back. The coaching staff, led by Mike McCarthy, has tried to balance the run-pass game, but in high-stakes moments, turnovers and missed opportunities have cost the Cowboys dearly. In this context, the potential acquisition of Shedeur Sanders could be a game-changer. His arm talent combined with his youth could give the Cowboys a new dimension. Imagine a future where Sanders develops behind Prescott for a year or two, learning the NFL ropes, then stepping in when the time is right. This kind of quarterback pipeline isn't new in the league. Look at Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith, or Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Teams that plan ahead and develop young quarterbacks often find sustained success. But it's not just about the on-field talent. It's about the culture, the the organization's willingness to innovate, and the vision for the future. Jerry Jones historically has shown he is willing to pull the trigger when it comes to big-name players and bold strategies. Remember the trade for Cooper or the signing of Des Bryant? Those moves changed the franchise's trajectory. If the Cowboys pull off a trade for Sanders, it could send a message across the league. Dallas is serious about winning now and in the future. Of course, there are hurdles. The Browns, the team currently holding Sanders' rights, have been evaluating their quarterback room closely. They drafted Shedeur Sanders with high hopes, but early reports suggest that his transition to the NFL has been slower than expected. His timing with NFL receivers has been inconsistent, and defensive speed and complexity have presented challenges. Meanwhile, Cleveland's veteran starter, Deshaun Watson, has shown flashes of brilliance, but hasn't yet regained the consistency that would make him a clear-cut franchise QB. This has led to speculation that Sanders could become expendable if the Browns find a way to leverage him for draft picks or roster upgrades. The Browns also have a veteran in Watson and a promising backup, which might make Sanders a valuable asset on the trade market. The Cowboys, with their need for a long-term solution at QB, are naturally linked to these rumors, especially given Jerry Jones' history of making splashy moves to land star players. Now, let us consider the strategic aspect. The NFL is evolving rapidly. Offenses are becoming more quarterback-centric, and teams are looking for that next big thing who can change the game in a split second. The Cowboys are no different. They've built a strong defense, especially with Parsons leading the charge, but they've always been an offensive-minded team. Dak Prescott has been a good quarterback, but he has often been criticized for his inability to elevate the team in clutch moments. That's why the idea of bringing in a young, talented quarterback like Sanders is so appealing. It's about building for the future while still competing now. And don't forget the division rivalries. The Eagles, led by Jalen Hurts, have been a force, especially with their dual-threat offense and innovative coaching. The Commanders, on the rise with their young quarterback Sam Howell, also pose a significant threat. The Cowboys need to stay ahead of these rivals, and a move like this could be the spark they need to take that next step. It's a gamble, sure, but in the NFL, sometimes bold moves define seasons. Let us talk about the broader implications. If the Cowboys do trade for Sanders, it could set off a chain reaction across the NFC East. Other teams might start reevaluating their quarterback situations, making similar moves or trades that could shake up the division. It's also a sign that Dallas is serious about their championship aspirations, not just settling for being playoff contenders, but aiming for Super Bowl glory. The franchise has come close several times, but hasn't secured the ring since the 1990s, and the window is always open, especially with a roster that is competitive year after year. Looking at Sanders' college career, he has shown flashes of brilliance, and many experts believe he has the raw talent to succeed at the next level. His arm strength, mobility, and leadership skills are all high points. Critics point out that his transition to the NFL might be tougher than expected, citing the speed of defenses and the complexity of NFL playbooks. But that is true for most young quarterbacks. The key is development, coaching, and the system around him. Dallas's offensive coaching staff has a good track record with developing young quarterbacks, which makes this potential move even more intriguing. So fans, what does all this mean? It is a fascinating time for the Cowboys, a franchise that is always in the spotlight. The possibility of trading for Sanders represents a shift toward a more aggressive, future-oriented approach. Whether or not it materializes, it signals that the Cowboys are not content to sit still. They are looking for ways to improve and adapt in a league where every season counts. It is about balancing the present with the future, and that is what makes this story so compelling. And remember, this isn't just about one player or one trade. It is about the philosophy of a team that has been chasing a Super Bowl for decades. The current roster is talented, but the NFL is a league where the smallest detail can make the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. So whether this trade happens or not, it is clear that the Cowboys are in a critical phase, weighing their options and positioning themselves for a shot at glory. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What is your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe Sanders is the franchise quarterback Dallas needs? Or do you think they should stick with Prescott and build around him? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. This team is always evolving, and we're here to bring you every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and let us keep the Cowboys spirit alive.